Hi guys. Thank you for coming. Sorry, I'm still trying to share my link on my social media. It's always like this thing. It's so, I don't know. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Mine was okay. Pretty uneventful this time, I should say. Okay, Instagram. This is all so ridiculous. Wish there was one that would just do them all, you know? That would be awesome. How's it going, Florida Metal? Glad to see you. Hope you're doing good. It's okay? Oh, that I'm doing my social media thing? I know. I mean, I feel bad though, but I'm done now. Posting the last one, and then I'm, ow. Oh, shit. Okay, good. Ooh, okay. Alright, I think we got it now. How are you doing, Florida Mel? You doing okay? There. Done. Okay. Ooh, my back hurts. But it's okay. Today was a good day, huh? Good. That's really good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Today actually did go well for me. Better than expected, to be honest with you. There have been some things occurring, but yeah, definitely better than I expected. So that's always good, right? When something goes better than what you anticipated. So that was good. I'm happy about it. Indeed, indeed. Yep. And we were busy still, even so Easter is coming up. We were still busy, which is also great. Hi, Blood. How are you? Thanks for joining. Greetings. Welcome. Oh. Okay, thank you. Okay, so wait a minute. So, um, yeah, the ads, if you subscribe, of course, you don't get any ads. And if you subscribe, you get a free monthly reading. So keep that in mind. Subscribe. I still owe Mr. Weird a reading and Miguel because they're my two subscribers right now. So yeah, if you subscribe to me, you get a free monthly reading, and I think his subscriptions are like $4.99 or $5.99. So that's a pretty good deal compared to what I actually normally charge when you look in your chat, or I should point here rather. So yeah, so that's a good deal. So you should subscribe. So anyway, good to see you, Blood. I'm glad you're here. And Florida Metal in Universal, right? You work at Universal, right? If that's still what you do. That's cool. All of the people that I work for, they talk about it all the time, how they go to Universal all the time. And it's cool. Like, that's something I think we talked about that at some point in the stream. That's something I can do. Like, I can do that, like, maybe once a year. Go and maybe even go on a couple of rides and stuff. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. But they do that like almost every weekend. That's what they do, and I'm just kind of like, I'd get so bored. You know what I mean? Good. Yes, I do remember. I do remember. Okay, so you're waiting the results. Oh my god. I press my thumbs. That's what we do in Germany. We press our thumbs when Americans do this, and we press our thumbs like when we want something to happen to somebody. So I really hope this will work out for you. I think it will. I have a really good feeling. I have a good feeling. Took it yesterday on a Sunday? Hmm. HHN. What is that? HHN. Well, you know, I don't have a car, or I would come, but I'd need a ride there and back. So, oh, Halloween Horror Nights. Gotcha, gotcha. It's funny. I've never been. I've never been. Because it's really not something that I'm really like, I don't know. Because I have my own, I have Samhain. I celebrate Samhain, so on the Germanic side. So it's Makorstan on, in the Slavic um, tradition. But I celebrate it here at home, and I do my rituals and I do my things, I have my fire and I do the whole thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to go exactly on Halloween, but I know that you guys get married on All Hallows Eve, so I understand that you'll go exactly on that day, but if you already had that planned, that Halloween Horror Nights, then I'm not gonna. No, no, you guys do that then. That's something that you guys plan, so you do that. But I mean, if you wanted to, you could. Like, you're always welcome here. I've told you that. You guys are always welcome to stop by. Come visit. You're not far from me. You're 45 minutes to an hour away from me, so that's not far. So I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, yeah. Cause okay. You know, Also, I usually go to the Hocus Pocus show in Disney in October. I have to start looking at tickets already because last year I couldn't get one because it was all booked. I couldn't get a ticket. That really aggravated me because I wanted, yeah, because I really wanted to surprise my brother because it was always tradition for us to do that every year. And then I go on there and I try to buy tickets. I was gonna give it to him for like a late birthday present or some shit like that. And I go on there because it's his birthday today, and it's all booked out. I was pissed because I had this all planned out. That was so completely planned out, taking the day off, everything, and then I go on there, try to get the tickets all sold out. I was like, but it was probably because it was the new Hocus Pocus movie that had come out. That was last year, so it might not be like this year because it had never been booked out before ever. I would buy it literally the month of, and it wasn't booked out. Yeah, it pissed me off, but whatever, man. It is what I should have thought about that, honestly. It's kind of my own fault. I should have thought, oh, fuck. Hocus Pocus just came out with the movie. They're going to be busy as hell, but I didn't think about it. But, so who else is in the room? Say something in chat. Because I do have a topic today that I thought that we could discuss if people want to. Your interpretations and your thoughts on Yggdrasil, the world tree. But only if I have people conversating or conversing? No, not conversing, I don't think. Conversating. And turn his air conditioner on. It's hot up here. Oh my god. 75. That's too hot. That's too hot. Because it's not really 75 then in my room. In my room it would be like 77. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, this year's going by fast. I mean, we're already in April. I can't believe it. I can't believe how fast. It's crazy. It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you guys yeah, see, people are helping me to get to my goal. It's huge. Like look at my goal. It's at 0.56%. It's so ridiculous. But it's okay, so if you guys want to help, subscribe. If you subscribe, you get one free reading a month. So that's pretty much all you need. You know what I mean? You don't have to get a reading every week. You can, but you don't have to. So if you subscribe, then you just get a free reading every month, and that should be good for you. So that's why I'm waiting for Mr. Weird and Miguel to come in so I can give them their readings. Well, it's okay. It's totally okay. I'm just kind of, waiting for more people to come in if they are. Sometimes Mondays are not the best, which is understandable. A lot of people. Yeah, I know. A lot of people, they're tired. It's Monday. They just came back from the weekend and they had to work, and so they're tired. So I always understand if I have not a good stream. I have, as soon as I started this whole streaming thing, I have understood in my head that these days will be there where it will just be slow and people are not going to be in the stream, and I'm okay. Try the next day, I just really thought we can discuss that topic because I had some thoughts on it, and I really wanted to, but I'm not going to get into it right now if there's nobody, here that's really going to be contributing. So then I'll just save it for next time, but it depends. Because we're only 18 minutes in, so I'm going to give it probably at least 45 minutes. And then I'll make the executive decision whether I need to just call it quits. Definitely. It's already so hot again. It's like, oh my god, I gotta... In the last few months, I've been getting away with watering my plants like once a week or so. Sometimes even longer, and they didn't die. But now I have to water them again every day, and I'm like, oh my god, because I Yeah, it's my brother's birthday today, and it's kind of, I gave him his gifts that I got for him, but he's dealing with some crap with his new car that he just bought and paying for warranty, and these people are not saying that he doesn't have a warranty because he has already problems with the car, and it's just like, it's just a mess. So he's going through that on top of being sick now too. On his birthday, he's laying in bed sick. Poor guy, dude. That's bullshit. So I was like, here are your gifts. You know, pretty much. But it's cool. It's just a cold. It's not like he has anything serious. But, you know, men and colds. You know, it's not like a woman with a cold. He will. And I was wondering, because yesterday when I was, what was I doing? Doing something in the bathroom or whatever, and I heard, oh, thanks, Lindsay. It's in the bathroom, and I heard him over there coughing. I'm like, my brother's coughing? He doesn't smoke at all, so it's like, okay, he's coughing. Okay. Something is wrong. Now I'm coughing. Oh my God. He has infected me with the disease. Yeah, shows soon, Florida Metal. Shows soon, hopefully. Lord Valak is definitely getting there. He's working really hard. And you know, our music is not for the, you know, what do you call it, for the faint-hearted or whatever that shit's called, because it's tricky. It's difficult. You know, there are parts that are very difficult because we have, like, sometimes we have, like, a little bit of progressive elements in our music, in our songs, as well as, like, throughout the whole thing, you know. So it's like certain riffs, when we flip the riffs, then the drum pattern changes, but it only changes for a small amount of time, and then he has to switch to a whole nother drum pattern. Or sometimes, you know, like, we're very versatile, so it's tricky. It's tricky, you know. People have to kind of get used to it, and he's working really hard, and I really, you know, that's what we need. You know, we need somebody like that, somebody with dedication, somebody that really wants to do that, you know. So yeah, man, you're gonna see us play with Lord Valak. Can you believe that? Can you believe that he was ever gonna be our drummer? I never thought that was gonna happen. Like, it wasn't just something where I was like, oh man, you know, we can't score him or anything. Of course, he's great, but it was just kind of like, I never envisioned that. You know, I never really was thinking that that was gonna be something, and now that is, you know, that is the reality. The drummer from Haunted is our drummer, and I'm just like, wow, you know, I'm so I'm so excited because, you know, Haunted, they've been around for, what, over 20 years they've been around. I remember my first drummer that I had in Iptal, my very first drummer. Anyway, moving on. He was the one that at some point told me about Haunted and was like, at some point, you know, maybe we can get there. We can play with these guys. That would be huge. And now it's like the norm, you know. Now it's pretty much the norm for us to play with Haunted. So it's big, you know. These things are big. These are steps, you know. Just same with Led by Serpents. When I first saw Led by Serpents, I saw them in Miami play. And when I saw them play, and we were brand new. The band was brand new. We were all fresh. And when I saw them play, I looked at them and I said, I want to play with them. These guys. I want to play with them. And I never thought that was going to happen. And it happened multiple times. And then also at the same, they fucking rule so hard. I wish they were doing something, but, you know, whatever. You know how bands, you know how shit goes. The other band that was playing with them, I mean, it was like a festival, a black metal festival, so there were a bunch of different bands playing. Medusa was there. So there were a bunch of different bands, but there was another band. It was Picado from from Canada, but he Astaroth, he's Colombian, right? So these guys badass. Also, there's Weird. Hey, Weird. Greetings. So I was like, Picado? Yup. And we did an actual mini tour with them. That was so awesome. And they stayed here at my home and everything. Good to see you too. Yeah, so next step, guess. Next step, Karak Angren. I want to play with Karak Angren. That's the next step. Next step after that, Vaten. That's a big leap, huh? I don't care. I got dreams. You're eating tacos? I love tacos, but probably with beef, right? I get like the veggie burgers and I chop them up. And I cook them in the pan with the taco seasoning and everything, and then I make tacos that way. Okay, I'm gonna make tacos tomorrow. Great. Thank you, Weird. Was not gonna go to the store tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the store now. You're still an animal, yeah. A carnivore animal. Carnivorous animal, you have to say. Because I'm not. But yeah, I take those fucking veggie burgers. Ironically enough, the brand of all the like the veggie stuff that I get, the veggie burgers, the veggie bacon, the veggie nuggets that I get, the brand is called Morning Star. Ironic. Is that not fucking ironic? Morning Star. Yeah, and I get the veggie patties, and it tastes just like burgers. I ate meat my whole life. I'm the type of person that likes my steak rare. Like, I was a meat eater. So when I tell you that shit really does taste good, then, I mean, it really does. It is tricky to can tell the difference that it's not meat. That's how good it is. So yeah, and I get these, and they're thin, thin patties, and I throw them in the pan, and I start chomping them up, put the fucking taco seasoning in there, and then the rest I keep the same, Yeah, Morningstar. I feel like that's probably the most, like, predominant brand right now when it comes to that stuff. Yeah, so I love tacos. Then I use Rotel, the hot one. I use cilantro instead of lettuce. I don't use lettuce because cilantro is just 10 times better. Then extra sharp cheddar, but not out of the bag. I do that myself. And then flour tortilla. I've put refried beans in it before too, because I really like refried beans, but it was not. I should have not done that. Yeah. I got taught how to make tacos by literally a half Mexican and half Spanish from Spain family. They taught me how to make tacos. So, I know how to make tacos. Tacos? Taco ideas? Damn it. Guess I'm gonna be going to the store tomorrow. Fuck. Oh, yeah? What time are you streaming? Because if I can, I'll come visit. Unless it's at the time that I stream, then I'm not coming. Oh, in the morning? Oh my god, why? I can't, I'm working. I'm literally working exactly the hours that you're streaming. How fucked is that? I start at 10 o'clock until literally 3:30. I won't be home until 4. So I'll miss everything. Oh, cool, because Fridays I don't stream. Gotcha. Gotcha. So that's cool. So you can still pop in here afterwards if you want to. That's cool too. So what's your stream gonna be like? What's it gonna focus on mainly? I'm interested to know. Is it gonna be the sort of similar thing that I'm doing, or? Nice. Very nice. Love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, anything. Hi, Emily. Greetings. Yeah, I'm still working on that goal because once I get that new computer, I'm gonna be streaming games too. It's gonna be mainly For Honor and Guild Wars 2. Those are gonna be my two go-to things that I'm gonna be streaming for sure. Yes, ma'am. I still haven't added you, but I haven't forgotten. There is Cart. What's up? I know I will, Emily. Probably this weekend. Oh, you did? Yeah, I don't know what is my name. That's a crazy thought. That's a crazy thought to think. Carthranus. What if God made the universe when he knew everything, then created himself so he could live in the world without knowing anything? We live in our own realm, I think. It's a good idea. You always have good ideas. Well, my topic today was going to be Yggdrasil. I don't know if everybody's familiar with Yggdrasil. Yeah, and I believe that our ancestors are the ones that knew that stuff because they were still presently there in the beginning stages of development of everything in the world. You know what I mean? So there's like this hidden knowledge, these hidden secrets, that we have forgotten, and that they just either they weren't passed on or that we just forgot over time, you know. And once we can remember this, we're gonna be golden. But that's exactly it. See, Yggdrasil, we talk about as the world tree, in pagan, in the pagan religion. Not just in the pagan, it also comes in many other, of religions. Just it does different things and it means different things depending on what tradition, what religion. Ah, yeah. Well, I think that there's also a negative side to that, possibly, where, as in indoctrinated religions and education, limited education, and that have led to that, by people in power that don't want us to, that brings it all back again to Mesopotamia. The two big guys. It was Enki and Enlil, okay? Enlil, I think. And they were the ones Enki was the one, I think, that was freeing, in the story, that was the one freeing the humans that were used as slaves, as working animals by the Sumerian gods, and he freed us from that. Enlil was the one that had us as the slaves, and Enki was the one that set us free and gave us knowledge and said, here, I'll give you this knowledge, the secret knowledge, so that you can use it. You have to free yourself from this slavery and use this knowledge, and that's how you will grow as humans. So I think there was a lot of that going on. A lot of things destroyed too. A lot of things destroyed. When Christianity really hit hard, Christianity was one of the only religions that really just took on the whole world. It spread its tentacles throughout the entire world, right? And it, in the beginning, the aggression with it was so vast and so bad that they just took everything and they destroyed everything that could in any which way just consider a different religion or another god, if it wasn't Jesus or God or whatever. And they destroyed these things. They literally wiped out people. They wiped out everything, records and traditions. They wiped out everything, because they said our religion is the really right religion, and the heathens are bad, they're snakes, blah blah blah. Yeah. Heathen is pretty much anybody that does not believe in the Christian God. We call them Heide in German, Heide. But oftentimes the heathen is connected to the like the, I mean, you can't really say Viking, because Viking was kind of a profession that the pagan people back then did. So heathen is pretty much heathen is somebody that does not believe in the Christian God. Heathen is most of the time somebody that believes in the old gods and ancestor worship, like me, pretty much. That's a heathen. Heathen is used as somebody that is like rowdy, almost like barbaric in a way, against the grain, crazy, chaotic heathen, Heath, and it's spelled like that. It's so funny because that reminds me of the fucking Heath bar, the caramel with the chocolate. I saw one today and I was gonna, shit. Okay. Yeah, I was just making fun of your name anyway. I was going to say, but I wasn't trying to make fun. I like when I see the word Heath like that. Heath reminds me of the Heath bar, the caramel with the chocolate. And I saw it today in the store. I was like, oh man, I think I want to get that. But I was like, no, I still have chocolate. I don't need to buy any chocolate. Fuck yeah. Heath. Yeah, heathen. That's good. That's good that your name is that. Yeah, Heide. Heidnischer Glaube. The heathen faith. Right? Yeah, so anyway, so what I was going to discuss today was about Yggdrasil, right? How we can know in the heathen stories about how Yggdrasil is pretty much the center and connects all the different worlds, right? Midgard, Niflheim, Jotunheim, Asgard, Valhalla, all of the ones connected by Yggdrasil, right? So when we really think about this more, in the Slavic pagan religion, it's even further in, literally considered they're different planets, okay? They are different planets. They're the worlds of Nav and Prav and blah 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 and so on and so forth, okay? So it sounds, when you read the stories and when you get into your imagination, it sounds so crazy, right? But anything that you want to make appealing for people, you have to kind of dress it up. Like you said earlier, religion can be really crazy and wild with the stories, because like I always say, they might, it sounds crazy, but there's always a grain of truth to this. Okay, so my belief is almost at this point, after seeing how I have developed my thoughts and my, you know evolved in my knowledge and a little bit, in my education and my reading process and everything. To me, my interpretation of Yggdrasil is almost as it is the black hole at the center of the universe that is making the whole universe move, right? And causing it to expand, or whatever you want to call it. And everything is dependent pretty much on that black hole to keep moving and keep everything connected. Okay? All the planets, all the systems, and everything from, if that black hole were to disappear, just collapse within itself, then everything would just spin out of control, right? Because that is the gravity that is making everything move, and that's causing the gravity for all the different planets, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But that's my point. I really think that our ancestors knew that shit. And they just, to dress it up better, made it, talked about it as a tree with its branches and with its roots, when in reality that is just like matter, dark matter, or whatever. But they saw that. How did they see that? They didn't have the technology that was needed for them to be able. We don't even have the technology to find the black. We had what 2 years ago we finally had the first picture of the black hole, right? And it was so, like, you couldn't even really tell. It's like an orange spot, So in all honesty, this is like this hidden knowledge, this hidden secret knowledge. And where does it come from? I think I mean, one of my suggestions could be, for instance, when people, in meditation, that our ancestors were so much more connected to their own spirit and the spirit of the universe as a whole, that they were able to meditate on these things, and they had visions. The shamans, the shamanka, they had visions, and these visions, provided by whatever force, were showing them these things. They were showing them the black hole that connected everything. Now, the way they saw it in their visions may be reminding of a tree. So Yggdrasil, you know what I mean? So I think there's a lot of that stuff that I could think that that's how it went. I love that you just brought that up. I really love that you just brought that up, because I always believed that myself. I always have believed that when you give somebody a name, when you're named as a child at birth, or even when you obtain another name later in life, or whenever you obtain a name, then you are branded now by this name. And that name is, it brands your destiny and your fate. You know what I mean? I believe that wholeheartedly. There's this deep feeling, there's this feeling, because where did the name come from? It came from your parent, right? But where did your parent get it from? They thought deeply on this. They really meditated deeply. Hey, Excess, how are you? Greetings. Glad to see you. It's been a minute. Yeah, so there's a deeper meaning already from the start, right? Because they know, okay, this is my child, and my child will have to live with this name for the rest of their life. I better make this good. I give this child the best name possible. So they dwell on that for a while. Meditate on that, if you will, for a while, to make sure that they give their child the proper name. Okay, so so that's even more so Florida metal. Now we're even passing down names from generations. It's the same for me. I was named after my father. My brother was named after my grandfather, right? So we keep these traditions up, um, by the names. We kind of implant, if you will, something of that person that has passed on their name to us in us, which is already there because it's already in our blood because it's our DNA. But I feel like it thickens and it gets deeper when the name is something too, when you're named after that person as well. Oh, a witch event? That's cool. I wonder what did they do there? Yeah, that's true. Okay, that's really true. I have done research on my own name myself too. You did your first spell jar, cacao ceremony. What is that? Cacao. Not trying to come off, but I really don't know what that is. That's so great. And you know what? That that happens all the time. That happens all the time. When I read my great grandfather's book that he had written, I read the book and after I was like, "Mom, I read you in this." She said, "There's no way." I said, "Yes, Mom. It's definitely a family member, and I can totally tell how you wrote." She's like, "Yeah, I noticed that, but I just can't believe you noticed that too." I'm like, "Yes, I did." I never got to meet any of my grandparents. Well, I got to meet my grandmothers, but neither one of my grandfathers, unfortunately. A plant medicine for the heart. Sounds like coca, which is I don't think really good for the heart. The coca leaves, but I don't know. Yeah, but well, that's cool that you did that. What all did they do at this witch festival? I wonder. Oh, and like I said, people, if you guys want to have a free reading in a month or once a month, subscribe to me. If you subscribe to me, you get one free reading a month. Just a reminder. That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm glad you got to do that. That's really cool. I don't ever get to really do. Mm, not really my thing. Um, Wicca in that sense, but still nice. That's true. That's true. They say silence is gold, but the speech is considered silver, and that's the knowledge. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like when they say your silver tongue. Um, but that's another thing we talked about last time too. When we think about some of the geniuses that have developed our world, like for instance Nikola Tesla, he said one time that his ideas came to him in long periods of being isolated by himself. That's how he was able to do these things. interesting. Okay. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm not sure if I would drink anything, because I'm very, you know. But if it worked for you, that's good. I'll have to do some research on it. I'll do some research on it and maybe. I really like new ideas. I really like, giving me stuff like that. That because I'm definitely gonna look into that and see. Thanks for coming in, Kay. It was really good to see you. Thanks for chatting. Yes. Have a good night and, eat. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling, excess. I kind of had a feeling. Yeah. Oh man, I read so much about the Incan Empire. I love their history. Their history is so rich. Their ancestors had the richest history of human sacrifice that anybody can even talk about. The my Germanic peoples, they don't catch up to them at all. So many beheadings and all that stuff. Um, I also found very interesting how the Andean American people, um, or Andean people generally, how they communicated because they didn't have actually like written speech. They used knots to communicate. So they would have like this piece of wood, and then they would put, alpaca wool or llama wool, because that's the most. That's the animal they use the most for meat, for wool, for all of that sort of stuff. And they would, you know, then they would dye the wool different colors, whatever colors they chose, whatever meant whatever. And then they would tie this to the stick, and then they would make knots, and then depending the size of the knot, depending the color of the wool, depending the distance between knots and how many knots and all of these little details, that was how they put records. That's how they recorded, like, business exchanges. That's how they recorded, when they had court. Literally, they had court where they would record the court, what went on there. They were very advanced people, very advanced. They had irrigation systems that were absolutely genius irrigation systems. And this is before the Romans. They were the first that were able also adapt, because the climate, they had to, oftentimes they had to leave because the climate will get so dry, that they weren't able to plant any crops. But they were also the peoples that had some of the most exchange when it came to peoples from very high in the mountains to people by the ocean. And they would exchange. So you would be able to find, archaeologists found stuff like shells, seashells in the mountains because of trade that they had going on. And they had a lot of these, they used these coca leaves. For the shamans were usually the ones that used those so they could get, into their meditation. Coca leaves and a lot of different types of mushrooms. So there was a lot of hallucinogenics going around, but most of the time it was really only used for ritualistic purposes, and mostly it was only the shamans or shamanka that actually used those. Honestly, I'm not really into that excess. I'm not into this, like, I'm this kind of witch, I'm this kind of witch. It's just like a witch is a witch. You know what I mean? They might be like, okay, they can maybe manipulate something a little bit more, than another, which, everybody has a little bit of their particularity, if you will, that they do. But all in all, you're a witch or you're not. You know what I mean? It's just like there's really no, you know. People that kind of put these own labels on them, I think they're just kind of afraid of being misinterpreted as something, and they're self-conscious. Like, for instance, a green witch. Normally a green witch is a person, you know that works with herbs, but they call themselves the green witch because they want to make sure that people know that's all they do. They don't do anything, you know that outsiders could consider, anything else, because they might have a lot of Christian friends or people of intolerant personalities. So they call themselves a green witch so they can specify that they don't, pray to Lucifer, or that they don't worship Satan, or that they don't worship the old gods, or whatever. Whatever they're trying to kind of, you know, the point they're trying to make for other people. They're naming themselves that for other people. Really, that's my thought on that. If somebody wants to correct me on that, but that's how I look at it. Because I mean, I went through phases too. I was a teenager once, and then I said to myself, "Oh, I'm this and I'm this." And as you grow, as you learn, and you just understand at some point you have that within you, and that is something that you practice. And any witch can use any kind of. How's it going, K9? Okay, so if you want a reading, so I suggest to you, K9, if you want a reading, to subscribe to me. If you get a monthly subscription, then you get a monthly free reading, okay? But other than that, there's the bit rate on what my readings are now. So you'll have to spend bits, okay, on that shit. I haven't even checked my Twitch stream to see if anybody spent any crystals. And spend crystals, people. Do it. Spend your crystals. I'll play a tune for you, or I'll do, whatever you spend your crystals on. But glad to see you, K9. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, if you subscribe, it's like $5.99 a month or something. You get no advertisements, and you get a free reading. And it's a 10-card reading, so it's a whole, it's a whole setup reading. So, subscribe, help me reach my goal. 0.56% there. But anyway, so yeah, Egg says, so that's pretty much what it is. You know what I mean? It is. I'm gonna use this now, and people are gonna frown upon it, but I don't care. I think probably a lot of us know the movie The Craft, right? So there's a particular scene in there where the girls are in the pretty much in the apothecary, and they're purchasing stuff from the witch that runs the place. And then one of the girls says to her something along the lines of like, so what are you? Are you a white witch, or are you a black witch? Dark or black magic? What's behind the curtain? Black magic? And that's when the owner of the place looks at her and says, there's no such thing. Like, a witch is just a witch, and what the witch does with her power is up to her. If she today feels like producing something through black magic and using tools of the darker aspect of magic, then she shall. If she decides she would like to make a remedy as a green witch, so she shall. So that's it. You're just a witch. If you call yourself like a white witch or whatever they do, it's just like, they're like, we're light workers, and I'm just kind of like, you're a poser. Okay? Like, because it's not always all light. Because without darkness, there wouldn't be any light, and vice versa, right? So I'm always the person, you gotta embrace both, right? And anything and everything in moderation, but you have to balance both. You have to balance the darkness with the light. But I do believe in the black flame that is inside of us, but whatever. So witches are people that manipulate magic, okay, that manipulate magnetism and anything that they choose. um it's about ritual, it's about that sort of thing. So that's that's the most common thing, right? That's pretty much how it all starts, if you will, and that's something that you will always maintain as a witch, because that's pretty much what the witch is all about. It is the witch is That's why the witch was always outcast. That's why the witch was always bad, because the witch was more still connected to nature than the rest of peoples, right? The witch was the one that was a poor woman living in her hut in the forest, but she still wore a necklace, which was not normal at these times, because women of that, stature, that didn't have kids, that weren't married, lived by themselves in a hut, they didn't have money. Why do they have a necklace? It was a sign of a witch. But the witch in itself is kind of like, it's also in a way science fiction, right? Because it's shamanka is what they really were. But people and the Christian church twisted it so hard that then they came up with the word witch, and then which derives from vulva, of course. But vulva also was an it really a negative term, right? Because the vulva worked with the bad, did the curses and all of that stuff. That was forbidden magic in for our ancestors, whereas the shamans and shamanka were the ones that used, that didn't curse, that didn't, that worked with the gods all the time. Okay, so now the Christian church now then came up with the word witch, invented, twisted that word around to make it sound kind of evil, and then they stamped on the head, they worship Satan, and they do the bidding of the Dark Lord and stuff like that, which was never like that. It was never the case, really, that Satanism or Satan, when it comes to the Christian church, was an invention by the Christian church so that the Christian church can stay in business. Because if there were no Satan, then there would be no God, and then there would be no church, and then there would be no way of controlling the people. Yes, they do work. Absolutely. You can use them. Crystal points are for, like, you can see what. Oh, okay. Answer to a question. Okay, I saw. I have to switch between chats when somebody does that. Okay, so I will answer any of your question. Of course, not related to your it is all about control. Absolutely. I mean, mostly. So what's your question, K9? So yeah, so that's how it all is with the witch. That were women that, the women that seduced men, and women that were exceptionally, like, pretty, even so, of their, they were by themselves and they lived alone and stuff like that, and they weren't married. So now, because other women were jealous that these women were good at seducing men, so now they were witches, right? And the men at these times always, as usual, no offense, right, blaming it on the women. She is a witch, she made me do this, right? Telling their significant other that the witch had used magic on them, and that's why they slept with her, or whatever, to make the wives believe that person had magical powers, and force them like this into sexual relations, etc., etc., right? All of these fucking stories, there's so many different stories on how this all came about. No. Yes or no question. So that's also another reason why I have personally kind of weird away from the term witch, because it is kind of, it has become just this kind of like this pop culture thing, right? Now everybody wears the pointy hat. Everybody's a witch, right? Everybody is like, "Oh my god, I'm so witchy. I got a black cat sticker on my car," and all that stuff. And but it's so superficial and shallow, and I don't like that, right? Because it's not. That's not really. It's serious for people like me. That's my life. That's what I've been doing my whole life. That's not just like a trend or something that you do here and there. No, this is like a lifestyle, and this is your life, right? So I have then decided at some point, I was like, okay, educated myself, realizing, okay, really what I'm doing, it is shamanism, yeah? So I'm like, okay, a shaman is a shaman, man, so that's the male, okay? So then I'm like, okay, so what's the female version of the shaman? Figured it out, shamanka, which is the Russian, the Slavic word for, oh, that's a good question, XS. For the female shaman. So I'm a shamanka. That's it. Because that is still something that to this day there are very many traditions where this is very held very sacredly still. A shaman or a shamanka. They're considered, a priestesses. I don't feel like I'm at the liberty to just call myself that. Um, I have respect. There are people that have been doing this longer than me, that are better at it than me, and that have eaten really knowledge with the fucking silver spoon, and they're the ones that are deserving. I feel like the word priestess should be bestowed upon me by somebody that is of a higher rank than me. You know what I'm saying? So I am a shamanka. That's it. So I'm a witch, but I'm a shamanka. I don't like using the word witch because it's been just trampled on. It's been just completely trampled on. Same with the word spiritualism. You got those fucking hipsters out there that want to talk about that shit. And sorry, I'm not trying to be anything, like adverse to anything, but it's like certain things just really irk me, because there's a very serious practice behind it, and a very serious lifelong educational journey, and people just like, yeah, man, I'm fucking spiritual. I love those vibes. Oh my god, like I'm just like, okay, please stop. Okay, so how do you think tattoos affect your chakra? So I think that they can very well affect your chakra. Okay, but I think honestly, it's not about the tattoo itself. It's like, okay, you want to put a tattoo right here for this chakra, right? It would be the same as if you put your finger there and focused on that spot, okay, and then you know do whatever you need to do. A tattoo is not necessary in order to focus on your chakras and work with your chakras. It's all comes within. Now, if you think that is something that can help you, if you think that is a tattoo that you will never regret, then I think it can be good. I have no tattoos at all on my body because I am the person. I change my mind very, very much. I change my mind on things. Think like, I don't know how to really explain it, but I do know that, if I get a tattoo, I'm probably going to like it for a month, and then I'm going to start thinking of reasons why I suddenly don't like it anymore, or why, oh my god, I put it in the wrong spot, or oh my god, I should have gotten this instead. Oh my god, right? I have no tattoos. I have been debating the last few months on getting one tattoo. One. But it has to be the right tattoo, and I have somebody that I want it to design, but the person hasn't done that yet. But it's okay. But it has to be. I have to look at this thing, and I have to literally see All my beliefs and everything, it needs to be in that one tattoo. And it cannot be bigger than like about this size, because I don't want a huge one. And then I'm going to put it right there. And that's it. But unless I see it and say, you know, I have to be like completely blown away. If I'm not blown away by the design, the person knows what I'm looking for, kind of. Then, because I don't want to be one of these people. One of my aunts, she has tattoos all over her arm, little ones, just random tattoos everywhere. And she has been regretting this for like 30 years. She always wears long sleeves, even when it's fucking really hot outside. And she has regretted it. She's cried about it. She hates it now. And I know many people that have tattoos that they completely regret. And yeah, I wish I would have never gotten this. I wish I would have never gotten this. And I'm like, that's why I get earrings and piercings and wear necklaces, because I can take them out and I can change it. I'm not stuck with that shit forever. You know what I mean? Your star sign, that makes sense to have as a tattoo, because that'll never change. That will be forever something that you are. A rose, okay, that's probably your favorite flower, and it's gonna be probably your favorite flower forever. A Spanish woman. I don't know. I mean, you know, if that's what you like. Hey, to each your own. As long as everybody's happy with what they put on there, that's none of my business. I can just speak for myself. I wanted to get piercings too. I talked about that last time. I want to get an eyebrow piercing. Everybody gets eyebrow piercing. Nope, not getting it. Want to get the lip ring here. Everybody lip ring. Not getting it. Nose ring. Everybody nose ring. I'm like, fuck all of you. I'm not getting none of that shit, because all of you fucks have that. I want to be unique. I want to be different. I don't want to be the same for everybody. That's another reason why I don't call myself a witch anymore, because everybody calls themselves a witch now. If you're a girl that has some black fucking nail polish on your fingers, you're suddenly a witch. Oh my god. Are you real? Like, you know, and it's so funny because I get in conversations with these people too, and then it's like, so what kind of rituals do you do? You know, I do this and this. Like, I just buried a penny by a tree stump and da da da. And I'm like, okay. Well, I cut myself and bleed and set things on fire, and, you know, hold skulls of animals in my hand, and they're immediately like totally like, is she for real? And it's like, yes, that's actually how you do that. With your little penny in the ground, sure, you can do that too, but you know, how deeply are you actually involved? You're not involved at all. You just want to be cool by calling yourself a witch. That irritates the shit out of me. It irritates the shit out of me. I never call myself shit that I'm not. I would never do that. You know, make myself out to be something that I'm not, just to impress others. Keeping up with the Joneses, or whatever that shit's called. That's one of the satanic rules. Like, don't fucking do that shit. If it's for personal, your own growth that you want to do something, then that's what you need to do. But if it has anything to do with keeping up with anybody else or impressing anybody else, that's wrong. Like, oh my god. You know what I mean? Oh, God. I think so. Yes, excess. I think, permission, maybe not necessarily permission, but I do think if you take it, you must thank the earth for giving it to you. You must give your thanks to the earth, because the earth is now letting go of something precious that you have to now also take the responsibility and take care of and nurture it. You know, everything that I have on my altar, by the way, you can cash in your crystal points to get to see one of my altar items or whatever. but you can see it down there. But anything I have on my altar has I treat it with very much respect, and I'm really appreciative it's there. And I think when I look at it, I think about its history. Where did it come from? Why do I have it? Who gave it to me? Where did I find it? Whatever it may be. These are important things. It is also, I think about that. If you rip off yo, Kenjan. If you rip off a tree branch, a perfectly healthy tree branch off a tree, first of all, you should never do that anyway. Unless, I don't know. But there's really no reason why you should do that. That is a living being. We have really not figured out that trees and plants are actually way smarter than we thought. They have they're just completely, they have a conscience. They're, aware. So it's like you're ripping my finger off. A human's finger or an animal's finger. Don't do that. Now, if you must, for some reason, which you don't, there's really no reason, then you have to really, apologetically, That's why, but you don't need it, because you cannot really make fire with a fresh piece of wood like that, So you got to use just what has been naturally discarded by the tree. And then that is given to you. And you should still say thanks to that, because it's still something that you would never have without the tree. You would never be able to make fire and stay warm and keep yourself from freezing to death, So give thanks, The animal that you consume, give thanks. I eat meat once a year for a special occasion, and I hold an entire ritual prior to eating meat to thank this animal that I'm going to be consuming, to give its life so I can, have sustenance and live because I consume it. That is huge. That is huge to me. Oh, thank you. It's nice, right? I like it. It's comfortable, too. And it fits perfectly. Yeah, so because people don't do that. People sit at the table and they will pray to God and they will thank God for that. And it's just it irritates me. It really irritates me. Because you're thanking this higher power that you don't know really whether it exists or not. Instead, you can actually hold a prayer and release your energy to thank that fucking dead animal that's laying on your plate. Actually thank the animal, because that's what occurred here. God was not really involved there. It's thank the animal that got sacrificed or sacrificed itself so you could have sustenance. It's we are not really looking, giving just gratitude to the air, giving thanks to the air. And it's dude, when a stranger does something nice for you, there's people who say, God did it. No, the stranger did it. The person did it. Not God. The person. I would never stand there and say, Odin did it. No, the person did it. Okay, in the background, there might be something about Odin there, right? Odin may have had little there to do. But all in all, that person made a free will to do that for me. That person is to thank. And then later on, you can maybe say, thanks, Odin, for sending that person or something. You know what I mean? But, I think we have really kind of forgotten. When people act like that, they set themselves away and apart from what the people or the things that they actually need to consider and thank and get involved, It's because we all make our own choices. We do this thing, it's not always just this up there. It's a power, That's why people don't thank each other anymore. They always just thank God, or they thank, and it's why? Thank the people that are helping you, because that person might not believe in God and they're still doing that for you. So then is God then not responsible, right? Subsequently. You know what I mean? It's crazy. There's so much to think about with this thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There can be a connection, but you really have to really look at the reality in front of you, and you have to address that first. That's what we talked about last chat. always have to look at all of the logic alternative solutions to things that are rational, that are real, before you come to the conclusion that this was triggered by something bigger. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to look like a crazy person. You don't want to be a crazy person. That's what I'd rather mean. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Good and evil doesn't even really exist. There is really no such thing as duality. Yes, I am. So you can see here in the stream the bits that you spend on each reading. Now, if you want a free monthly reading, then you just subscribe to me. So if you subscribe to me, which is like $5.99 a month or something like that, maybe less than that even, then you get a free monthly reading. For each month that you subscribe to me, you get a free monthly reading. So you can either spend bits as you go on readings, or you can just subscribe to me and then you get a reading, which is a better deal. To subscribe to me is a better deal, So I will always suggest to you just subscribe, because then you subscribe to me and I'll give and you don't even have to ask. You come in each month, and when I see you, boom, you're getting your reading as long as you subscribe to me. Well, see, duality in that sense, yes, but duality oftentimes also means good and evil, right? And evil is just subjective. The term evil and good too is subjective, right? Because somebody doing something good, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's nothing in it for them, So you never really know if something is evil or good, right? Because there could always be another agenda. Even if somebody does something evil, like you hear this is a murderer, this guy murdered somebody, right? You're like, that's an evil man. But wait a minute, that person that he murdered was attacking his child. Is he still an evil person? You know what I mean? And that Christianity is like with the good and evil, and they consider that duality. But duality in that other sense, yes, that does. I agree with you. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's the same thing that witch said in the store. She said, a witch is both because nature is both good and evil all at the same time. It is in the heart of the witch. I'm now remembering this precisely. It is in the heart of the witch what she does. Exactly. But, then we water it down. Good and evil are both subjective adjectives, if you will. It depends on your morals. It depends on the perspective. It depends on it's situational based. It depends on these things. Exactly. Somebody can do something good, but it can unleash a whole fucking negative effect, you know? So that's why good and evil, somebody that does like a horrific thing, like is like a child rapist or something, right? You cannot say evil. That person is just like, I can't even have a word. That person should just endure the same pain as they inflicted. That is the proper punishment for that person. And that's pretty much all I got in my head. Because the way I feel about it is so great and so enormous that, like, what I would do to this person is, like, I can't, I'm just gonna stop here. But, so, in my head, logically, is the person has to suffer the same pain that the other person suffered. Eye for an eye. Tooth for a tooth. Eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. No. Because there are things that are just unforgivable. They're unforgivable. They are absolutely unforgivable. And that's just it. And that's another part where that's where I could never fit in with Christianity. Because Christianity believes, okay, you hit me on the one cheek and I hold you the other and you hit it again. No. No. It's wrong. And it's also wrong to sit by and let people do it and don't stop them. That's another part of Christianity that I despise, because it's God's will. No, 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 no. No, these things are not, it's not like that. We have to control ourselves. And we have to always be aware of our surroundings and protect those that are weaker than us. We have to. We fucking have to. I don't care. Yeah, threefold is the law of karma, which is like, that's really often a Wiccan thing, but the way it does occur is that I do believe that everybody pays for this, Is it threefold? It might not be threefold all the time. It could be tenfold sometimes, it could be onefold, you know what I mean? But I do believe everything, because I said that in last stream, it's magnetism. You are literally releasing power out of yourself, a sort of electricity, a magnetism, right? Magnetism, electricity, whatever. You're releasing that out, and you will get something back. It's I mean, I don't really know what that exactly means though. So it doesn't always work how you intended to, right? This is a good example. This movie is really just a good example because they had an actual, witch there that was kind of delegating these things, these rituals and all, and it was authentic in a sense, right? So there's that one scene where the one girl, Sarah, she talks about, she says, I sit there and I wish for rain, and I wish for it, and I wish for it, and then the pipe bursts in my room and it gets flooded. You see? And that's exactly how magic works. Because if you're not well trained enough, then your output, what you send out, is too scattered. We talked about that last time too. It's too scattered. It has to be completely zoomed in on and focused on exactly that in order to manipulate that. If it's not, then it's too scattered. Then you're gonna have outcomes like this. That's why magic is it can be dangerous, because the outcomes can be what you want. I wish for silence. I wish for silence. I wish for silence, and then I go deaf for 3 days. So always have to be careful on what you send out there, because you have to look at every perspective of what the outcome could be. Yeah, you see, and that's so ridiculous. Okay, wait a minute. Let me read that first. 3 times profit when you sell something. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, because and excess. That's because people are not educated. They're not educated. If they were educated, at least in that like area, then they would understand that's such a lame thing, because not everybody that's a Buddhist, is about chakras, and not everybody's about chakras is a Buddhist. You know what I mean? It's not always like that, because there's so many other, tiers, and so many other different denominations in that sense, right? That encourage chakras, like Hindu. That's not Buddhists, necessarily, right? So it's stupid. It's people that are uneducated. They just throw shit out there because that's all they know. So they just say that, and it's like, okay, now let me, then you can sit down and be like, that's why I like this, and that's why people are very kind of like careful with me, because when it comes to these topics, because they know I know a lot about that stuff, and they won't throw stuff out there because they know I will just correct them, because don't be stupid. I always say that. Don't talk about shit that you don't know about. That's what I try to... That is the advice I have always given myself, too. When I don't know something, I will sit there and say, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. Blah, blah, blah. Because I don't want to spread false information, right? That's huge. I don't want to do that. Fake news. I don't want to do that. So, but when I know something, I know something, and I'm going to say it. What? 300 times. But yeah, so that is pretty much how this all works. But it is tricky, it really requires, I had my coworker today, she goes to me, she's like, oh my God, can you teach me all that stuff? Please teach it to me. I'm like, listen, I've been doing this for 25 years. It's like, I will have to literally sit there with you 25 years and teach you all that stuff. I'm like, it's not, you can get into it. I'm like, but you should buy books and read on it, read as much as you can, so. But, yeah. Yeah, so I think we had a pretty good conversation tonight. We didn't talk exactly about Yggdrasil in that sense. But I feel like I might leave early tonight because I see there's 3 viewers and I do have to work tomorrow and, so, but I do want to just encourage you again, and I want to say subscribe. If you subscribe, you get a free monthly reading, okay? So, its subscription is only $4.99 or $5.99 a month. So, if you want to subscribe, I really need the support, and I would be extremely grateful. So, yeah. And you don't get ads. If you're subscribed to me, no ads. I mean, that's a dealio right there, I feel like. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to head out, guys, because I think it could be this time now. I've been on here for an hour and a half. That's not too bad. I'll be back tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow, the day after, and on Thursday, Word G. Word G. But it was really nice, guys, and I really want to thank everybody for coming, and I really had a good time, and we had a nice little talk. So, so I'm gonna hit the road here now early today, and I want to say thank you everybody for coming, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate your support. It's awesome. And subscribe so you don't have to watch ads and you can get a reading from me, because I like giving readings. But thank you for coming, Florida Metal. That was really awesome. Good to see you. Always good to see you, and I want to say Excess, thank you for coming. I want to say Mr. Weird, thank you for checking in, of course. We had K9 in here. I think K9 got a little one way when asked if Jay talks about them, and I said no. Yeah, Excess, thank you for being here. Awesome. Who else? I think that's it. So, thank you, everybody. I'm going to go, and I'm going to see you tomorrow. I'll be at tomorrow about the same time, okay? So, thank you. Don't forget to mourn those in spiritual turmoil. And I see you tomorrow.